Hey everybody, so I'm happy to announce that I actually have set my schedule now, so I will be doing a lot more consistent videos and schedules of those videos, so you should be able to see the same content but in a consistent basis, so you won't have to wait like a month for the next, monster discussion and stuff like that. So that being said, today we are discussing the Glory Shop. Now a lot of people have been asking about the Glory Shop about over a month now. People have been asking me questions about the Glory Shop. What should I buy? When should I buy it? How can I farm Glory points? All these types of things. And it is really important. Actually, it's probably one of the most important aspects of the game. So in case you guys don't know, for the new players, the Glory Shop is basically where you spend your arena points. So a lot of people think like, oh yeah, arena, not really that good. It's just, do it whenever, yada, yada, yada. But arena is probably one of the most important things of the game, okay? In the Glory Shop, you'll have various items and buildings available for certain prices, of course, and when these buildings have different levels of upgrades, they increase in price. Now, the only way to buy these things is to use glory points that you obtain through Arena. Now, these glory points are only obtainable as you do battles. So this is actually, I think, the only currency in the game, as well as guild points, that you cannot buy. You cannot buy them with money. You can buy mana stones, you can buy crystals, you can buy energy, you can buy arena invites, but you cannot buy glory points. So this is why it is so crazy important that you do your arena wings, even when you're just starting and maybe you will lose a fight. But it's still important that you do those. So before we talk about what you should buy and when you should buy it and yada yada yada, we're going to talk about what you get and when, what you should really do. So in Conquer, Challenger, Fighter, and Beginner, you all get various amount of glory points based on your grade of arena. So you get 2 for a beginner, which is 899 points and below. You get 3 for challenger, which is 900 points up until somewhere in the thousands, actually. We can actually check this right down here. So 1200. So anywhere in challenger from 900 to 1100, you'll get plus 3. From 1200 to 1400, you will get plus 4. And then for conqueror, this is where it gets kind of a little bit more complicated. You have to be at 1500 points or more, and you have to have a minimum ranking of 10,000. So maybe you'll be at 1600 points because you have a point score based on how many fights you do and etc, etc. But you have to be higher than 10,000, okay? So let's say you're at rank 10,001 and you have 1600 points, you will actually still be fighter 3. But if you're above rank 10,000, let's say you're at rank 4,000, but you don't have more than 1,500 points, you'll still be at fighter 3. This is why during reset weeks you'll see a lot of people be fighter 3 and like no one's conqueror or even guardian, because you have to have a minimum of 1,700 points because all of the points reset, right? So that's pretty simple. If we go down here, it shows the exact thing that I just read off. So it's actually at matchup, and you scroll all the way down, it shows you what you get for which ranks and stuff like that. So each fight that you win, this is the amount of points that you get. But for each fight that you lose, you'll actually just get 1 glory point. So even if you're losing your fights, that is okay because you're still getting glory points. So for you beginner players that are always, or not always, but a lot of the times you guys feel really kind of discouraged to do arena because you just see a bunch of level 40s around your rank, the AFKs and stuff like that. It's still important for you to do your fights, even if you just go in there, auto it, and just let yourself die out. And I don't suggest quitting right away because you might win the fight, and that's more points right there, 2 or 3 times more points. So it is important that you just try the fight, but at least do it even if you're going to lose, so that you can get 1 glory point. That's important. So now that you know how to get your glory points and how many you get for your rank, what should you buy? So the first thing I'm just going to say right out of the bat, do not buy the unknown scroll. You see that little blue scroll on the left? Do not buy that. It's very, very, very bad idea. It should be purplish actually, but my contrast of the game is a lot different. But you do not buy that. You get these things like crazy. You should never ever buy it. I have I have almost 22,000 unknown scrolls. You have very, very limited amount of glory points. You see I got 420, so you should never ever buy those. Another things that you guys should try to stay away from are the scrolls, because these are more for end game players who have already upgraded everything and they have nothing else to buy. And that's because these are a one-time thing. They will not help you other than if you get a good monster, and it's a very low chance. Everyone knows that Summoner's War is very, very obviously bad at the summoning rates, so do not get those. But one thing that you should always get before we get into the buildings are the Devilmon. You should always buy the Devilmon, no matter what. Even if you guys just start out, always go for the Devilmon. And you guys get 10 arena wings per week, and you should be able to use anywhere from 10 to 20 wings per day. If you guys don't play that much, it'd be like 10 wings, but if you play quite often, you probably get 20 or 30 wings in per day, which is actually pretty nice because that's a lot of glory points for you right there, which means each week you should at least be able to get the Devilmon, okay? So get the Devilmon, only use it to skill up natural 4 stars or 5 stars, preferably 5 stars since those are the harder ones to get skill ups for. But the 4 stars, you can do it, you know, say you summon a Chasun or something like that. You don't really want to wait to skill it up with a bunch of other nat 4s, especially if you're free to play. So definitely use a Devilmon on those type of monsters. Then we've got the Random Angelmon. Random Angelmon, don't buy. It's honestly one of those things that's like really extremely optional and only available for you if you actually have upgraded all of your buildings. So then we get into the actual buildings. Now this is probably the most complicated part. A lot of people aren't sure what to max first. I wasn't even sure what to max first, and I definitely regret certain buildings that I did not max. So first, this is a discussion of Sanctum of Energy and Mysterious Plant. If you guys are just starting out and you don't have these maxed out, or even if you're late game and you don't have these maxed out, you are missing out. You should always max the Sanctum of Energy and the Mysterious Plant no matter what. Now the question is, which one should I go for first? Now if it were up to me, I would say work on both, because getting your Sanctum of Energy up, it actually makes your crystal refreshes or refills more efficient, and then your Mysterious Plant is also important to go up because that way you'll be able to gain energy as you're doing your runs and then while you're AFK, let's say at work or at school, depending on what you guys do. So doing both of those is very important. I would level them both up to level 5 first and then start switching off back and forth. Now in terms of usefulness, the Mysterious Plant is actually more efficient. So if you want to go ahead and just max that first and reach the level 10 first, that's fine. But the Sanctum of Energy is also extremely important right after the Mysterious Plant, and it's just as effective in terms of how much it's going to save you. So that way you can go up to 80 energy, which actually, it'll probably be actually 79 energy for you guys because you might not have the Elia event right here. So you might not have her, which actually she increases by +1 energy. If you guys don't have her, don't worry about it. But they're actually increasing the level cap to 50, so we should have around 89 to 90 energy depending on when you started. So back to the Glory Shop. Once you guys have maxed the Sanctum of Energy and the Mysterious Plant, honestly, I would suggest at least getting the Fairy Tree and the Mana Fountain up to a little bit. You don't have to get it maxed out, but getting it up enough, and this is the mistake that I made to the point where it actually doesn't matter for me anymore. Because these things can actually gain you some pretty good mana stones, and you need that. You need that to upgrade your runes. So definitely if you guys are just starting out, upgrading the Fairy Tree and the Mana Fountain just a bit. You don't need to max them, but just a bit around to level 5, that'll actually help you. There's actually a very good post on the forums of CompTOS. I can actually link it down in the description and in the comments that actually states the max level of these. I've got it right here. So the Fairy Tree is actually, it goes plus 200 per level. So it's plus 200 at level 1. So it'll hold up to a maximum of 2,000 allegedly or supposedly, because I don't have it maxed out. So I'm just reading it what it has here. But it should hold 2,000 once you get it to level 10. And then the Mana Fountain is supposed to go up by plus 5% speed per level. So it should go up to 50% speed increase, which is actually pretty nice. So those two things right there can actually help you quite a bit. And the reason I say that is because if you guys go to the buildings right here, there's 3 different buildings that help you get mana stones. Okay, so right over here I've got this one, and this one. So that should actually net you thousands of mana stone per day. That's actually quite helpful as a low level player. If you guys are like really higher ranked and you refill a lot and play all day, it could still help you, but probably just not as much. So completely up to you if you guys want to level it up. I completely regret not maxing those, but I definitely plan on doing that after I finish the current one that I'm on. So after that, I would actually suggest, once you max those two and then maybe level up the Mana Stone ones, I would actually suggest going directly for the Sky Tribe Totem. Now the reason I suggest doing this is because the Sky Tribe Totem is speed, and speed is insanely useful everywhere you go. So even during little teams like, you know, in Arena or in PvE or PvP, anywhere you go, speed is going to be very, very helpful for you. So in contrast to things like the crit damage or even the HP or the attack, some of those are actually pretty situational, maybe very, very situational. So the Sky Tribe totem, very, very good, must have. You should just go directly for it afterwards. After that, it's completely up to you whether you would want to go for the HP or the attack next. I would personally go for the HP first. Survivability is extremely important, especially for PvE. So I would definitely go for the HP percent. Maybe not max it because it is quite a bit and it would take you a long time. But at least get that up to level 5. Then you could probably actually start working on the attack percent. Now the reason I'm not actually suggesting the 25% crit damage right away is because this is also another situational thing to the point where you are actually ready to deal with crit damage. So crit damage actually only takes into effect when you get a critical hit. So a lot of the times maybe you just can't get the crit rate. So in that regard, I would just suggest getting the attack percent up a little bit first and then getting the crit damage after that. Crit damage definitely helpful mid-game when you're trying to set up a good AO, but a lot of the times people just kind of slow roll on the offense. So once you got those 3 done, like I do right here, then you could start working on the elemental ones. Now the elemental ones are actually really good. They have 1% more than these ones, but these ones are all around, so they're helpful. All of your attributes, that's why I suggest doing those ones before you do the elemental ones. But then the elemental ones are actually just a little bit on the side. So you see the wind, I got the wind one and the water one done. I'm going to be doing the fire one after I get this light one done because I got Tosi, but the fire one, I definitely want to start leveling up just in case I get a fire nuker. And I also have Vanessa and Sekhmet to worry about. So definitely you guys have use for all of these elemental ones. Start with the one where you have more attributes of. So say you have Theomars, you might want to start looking at the wind one, or the water one first. Say you've got Amir, maybe you want to start looking at the wind one next. So once you have those, honestly, I would also upgrade your guard stone. This is something that I actually screwed up on early on too. I would at least get this up to level 5, and the reason I say that is because defense is actually really important now. It plays a huge role in Rift, and it also helps quite a bit in PvE content. But Rift is the main thing, so having this guard stone tower at least up a little bit will help you get introduced into Rift, and it'll help you kind of manage your monsters and your runes a little bit better. Now after that, after you got all of that done and all of that said and done, you can actually start focusing on these 2 last ones, which is the Arcane Tower, the Crystal Rock, so it increases the Arcane attack power. And then you can actually do the Arcane Booster Tower, which actually increases the attack speed of the Arcane Tower. So it lets you do your little laser beams a little bit faster, which is, that's alright. Nothing that's completely necessary until you guys get into high-level gameplay. So that's about it. That's everything that you could possibly do with the glory points in the glory shop. And honestly, guys, it is really important that you do your glory buildings. If you guys just buy your scrolls and you buy your angel mod and stuff like that, you guys are missing out big time. Big time. Every time you make a purchase that is not a glory building and it's not a devil mod, you are falling behind probably at least a few days out of everyone else that is purchasing these items. So make sure you guys use your arena wings. Even if you lose, you guys get +1. Make sure that you guys buy the proper buildings in the proper order, starting from energy, then working on the universal buildings, and then making your way over towards the elemental ones. And then make sure that you guys are being efficient about how you spend, of course, on your glory buildings. If there is something that you need to get that is a little bit lower level, completely okay to do that because the level 10 and level 9 upgrades are very, very expensive. So I hope this kind of clears things up, guys. I'll try to keep to my schedule, just going back on the schedule thing. I've got a pretty nice schedule set up here, and oh, okay, popcorn has been conquered. I'm going to be sticking with my schedule. If you guys want to have any episodes or new series, make sure you guys leave it in the comments, and I will get to those and address those. Maybe I'll add it to my schedule, and we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.